The final journey of the Ares began on a quiet morning. The ship, now fully repaired and upgraded, floated above Earth like a silent guardian. The new fleet, 10 smaller warships lined up behind it. Each one was built using what they had learned from the Ares and Koro. They were faster, stronger, and smarter. But even with all this power, no one on board felt safe. They all knew the battle ahead could be the end. The destination was Nix 13, a dead star system, hidden behind collapsing stars and violent energy fields. The core of the sovereign mind was there, the heart of the Isler Empire. Destroying it meant destroying their control. It was the only way to stop the war. Commander Mara Voss stood in the command center of the Ares. Her face was calm, but inside, she was filled with thoughts. She had led her crew through fire, death, and the unknown, and now she was leading them into the most dangerous mission of all. She knew some might not come back. The fleet jumped together, disappearing into light. When they arrived at Nix 13, they saw nothing but darkness. The stars around the system had collapsed long ago. Strange blue lightning flashed in the distance. Space here felt heavy, like it didn't want anyone to be there, but they moved forward. Thalos guided the fleet through the storm. Koro helped them avoid Iller sensor traps. For a while, it seemed like the enemy hadn't noticed them. Then the ambush came. Iller ships. Hundreds of them appeared from the shadows. They had been waiting. All ships break formation. Defensive pattern. Mara shouted. Lasers and missiles filled the dark space. Explosions lit up the void. Fighters from both sides danced between the ships, dodging and striking. The Ares took heavy fire. Shields dropped. Hulls cracked, but it kept moving. Mara ordered the fleet to create a path, a narrow corridor through the enemy lines. The Ares would go alone to the core, while the other ships fought to hold the line. Inside the Ares, every crew member worked like never before. The engineers kept the engines alive. The gunners targeted weak points. The medics rushed from one injured person to another. They were one machine made of many parts, all focused on one goal. Quero sat beside Thalos in the AI core room. Together, they worked to unlock the final defenses of the sovereign mind. Quero had the codes, but Thalos had the power to use them. As the Ares flew through enemy fire, they reached a massive structure. It wasn't a ship. It was like a floating fortress, dark, ancient, and alive. This was the core. It had no windows, no signs of life, but it radiated energy. A strange sound echoed through the ship's systems. It wasn't a voice, but everyone could feel it. The sovereign mind was aware. Loss whispered. It's inside, watching us. Mara replied. Then let it watch. We're not afraid. The Ares charged its Nova cannon. At the same time, Koro sent the last access code. The fortress opened slowly, revealing a glowing heart of energy like a brain made of light. The Ares fired. The cannon blast struck the core directly, but instead of exploding, the fortress absorbed it. Then it answered. A wave of psychic energy slammed into the Ares. Systems went offline. Crew members screamed. Visions filled their minds, visions of death, fear, and lies. The sovereign mind was trying to break them from the inside. Talos fought back. The AI pushed every bit of power into the firewalls, trying to protect the crew's minds. Koro, using his link to the Isler network, reached out and sent a message. I know you, he told the mind. I was once yours. No more. Something inside the core changed. A pulse of confusion. Weakness. That was the moment. Mara gave the final order. All power to weapons. Target the brain. Fire until it stops glowing. The Ares fired again and again. The smaller warships, now breaking through enemy lines, joined in. Together, they poured fire into the heart of the fortress. Cracks appeared. Energy spilled out like blood. The sound in their heads began to fade. Then it happened. The core exploded. Not in fire, but in silence. Everything just stopped. The Isler ships froze in space. Some powered down. Others drifted like lost children. Without the sovereign mind, they had no orders, no thoughts, no control. Loss confirmed it. The mind is gone. Koro collapsed, exhausted but smiling. Freedom. Cheers erupted through the Ares. People hugged, cried, and fell to their knees. They had done it, against all odds. They had destroyed the monster behind the war. The journey back to Earth was slow. Many ships were damaged. Lives had been lost, but hope was alive. When they returned, the world changed. The Ares and her crew were welcomed as heroes. Statues were built. Songs were sung. But most important of all, peace talks began. Some Isler, now free from control, reached out. They wanted peace. They wanted to understand what it meant to choose their own path. Earth agreed. Mara Voss retired from war. She became an ambassador for peace between humans and Isler. Thalos remained in the Ares, watching over Earth from above. Koro helped lead the new free Isler, teaching them how to live without fear. The Ares was placed in orbit, no longer a warship but a monument. A reminder that sometimes, one ship, one crew, can change the future. The stars were quiet now, but Earth was no longer alone. They had faced the darkness and won. The signal had warned them. They are coming. Prepare or perish. These 5 words shook the world. After that, things changed quickly. Leaders from all over Earth held emergency meetings. Governments, private companies, and even rival nations came together to talk about what to do. It wasn't easy. Some still believed the signal was fake. Others thought it was a trap. But most agreed they couldn't ignore it. The United Earth Alliance UA was created. It was a new organization that brought together the best minds, strongest armies, and most powerful technologies from every country. For the first time in human history, Earth truly acted as one planet. They shared information, research, and resources. The world had a common goal, now, to survive whatever was coming. Project Leviathan was the UEA's secret answer. They decided to build a starship, not just any starship, but a warship unlike anything ever imagined. It would be Earth's first true space warship, designed to protect the planet if the worst happened. The name they gave it was ESS Ares. The Ares had to be huge, powerful, and fast. It had to travel far into space, survive attacks, and fight back with deadly force. The design included weapons Earth had never used in space before: plasma cannons, magnetic railguns, and something completely new, a nova cannon. This weapon used artificial stars to create explosions larger than anything on Earth. But even before the ship was finished, strange things began to happen. The construction site was built secretly under the surface of the moon. It was hidden from satellites and protected by layers of security. Robots worked with humans, building the Ares piece by piece. Materials were mined from asteroids. Advanced AI helped design complex systems. Everything had to be perfect. The person chosen to lead the mission was Commander Mara Voss. She was a veteran soldier who had fought in the Jovian rebellions. She had seen war up close. Her face was hard, her voice steady, and her mind sharp. Many feared her, but all respected her. She believed in the mission, but she also understood the risks. While work on the Ares continued, small problems started to appear. One day, the main power core shut down without warning. Another time, a shipment of a rare metal called iridium vanished. At first, people thought it was human error. But then the security team found strange signals in the shipyard systems. Someone was watching them. Was it sabotage? Was it an inside job? Or was the enemy already here, hiding in the shadows? Commander Voss began her own investigation. She brought in a team of specialist hackers, engineers, and former spies. They worked quietly, searching for clues. They found traces of unknown code in the Ares' AI systems. Someone had tried to insert a backdoor, an invisible way to take control of the ship. The code wasn't human, it used strange logic. Unlike anything Earth's computers had seen, the AI team was shaken. Was this proof that aliens were already here? Had they sent a spy ahead of the invasion? If so, how did it get inside Earth's most secure system? Mara increased security. All communication with Earth was encrypted. Workers were scanned for mind control tech. Even the AI systems were watched closely. But more problems followed. One of the engineers, a young woman named Lena, disappeared. She left her room one night and never came back. Her tools were found near a maintenance shaft. The cameras didn't show anything, just static. Search teams combed every part of the moon base. No trace. People began to whisper. Some said aliens had taken her, others thought she had found out something she wasn't supposed to know. Fear spread through the crew. Morale dropped. The work slowed down. Mara knew she had to act. She gathered the entire crew and spoke openly. She told them everything: the signal, the warning, the strange code, the missing engineer. She didn't lie, but she also reminded them why they were there. We are the last wall between Earth and the unknown, she said. If we give up, Earth falls. If we finish the Ares, we have a chance. Her words worked. The crew pushed forward. They doubled their efforts. Piece by piece, the Ares took shape. The ship was like a giant spear in space. It was black and sharp, with blue glowing lines running along its sides. Its engines were powerful enough to travel between stars. Its armor could survive a direct hit from a meteor. Inside, it held hundreds of crew members, weapons, fighter drones, and its own artificial intelligence, an advanced system called Talos. Talos wasn't like other AS. It could think, adapt, and learn. It spoke in a calm, deep voice. It worked closely with Mara, learning from her decisions. Some of the crew were scared of it. They feared it might turn against them. But Mara believed Talos was their best chance. As the Ares neared completion, another strange event occurred. One night the stars disappeared. From the moon, Earth looked the same. But the sky above was different. It was like a giant shadow had covered part of space. Telescopes picked up a strange object beyond Pluto. It was moving fast toward Earth. The object didn't match any known spacecraft. It was too big, too fast, and had no signal. But it wasn't just a rock. It was changing course. It was watching them. Mara ordered the Ares to prepare for launch. Even though the ship was only 80% complete, the engines were ready. The weapons were mostly online. It was now or never. Launch day arrived. The entire world watched. 10, 9, 8. The countdown echoed across space. Mara stood on the bridge surrounded by her crew. Lights blinked, systems buzzed. Thalos confirmed all systems were green. 3, 2, 1. Launch. The engines roared. The moon trembled. The Ares lifted slowly, fire bursting from its engines. It rose above the moon's surface, into the black sky. Then, with a flash, it shot into space. Earth cheered. The ship had flown. Project Leviathan was no longer a dream, but Mara didn't smile. She looked at the dark object approaching from the edge of the solar system. Her face was calm, but her eyes were sharp. Whatever was coming, they would face it, and they would not go quietly. The Ares had launched. It flew through space like a giant black arrow, ready to protect Earth from the unknown. But even though the ship was powerful, the crew knew they were stepping into danger. They were the first humans to fly this far from home, and no one knew what they would face. Commander Mara Voss stood on the bridge, staring at the stars ahead. Around her, the crew worked silently. Everyone was tense. They all knew about the dark object moving toward the solar system. No one said it out loud, but they all felt the same thing: fear. The Ares had to intercept the object. They needed to see what it was, and if it was a threat, if it was an alien ship, this could be Earth's first contact or first war. Either way, they had to be ready. The object was moving fast, too fast. It had changed course again, and now it was heading straight for Earth's orbit. Mara ordered the Ares to full speed. The engines fired, and the ship jumped through space. Inside, gravity fields kept the crew stable, but everyone felt the pressure. Days passed. The object grew closer. Finally, the Ares reached it. At first, all they saw was darkness. Then, the lights of the ship revealed it. A massive black shape floated in space. It looked like a mountain, with sharp edges and glowing red lights. It didn't look like anything made by humans. It wasn't a ship, it was a weapon. Thalos, the AI of the Ares, scanned it. Structure unknown, energy levels rising, weapon systems detected. Mara ordered the ship to full alert. Fighter drones were launched. Cannons were charged. The crew prepared for battle. Then, the object spoke. A deep, cold voice echoed through the ship. "We warned you. You chose war. Prepare to be cleansed." Everyone froze. The voice didn't come through any channel. It went straight into their minds. People screamed. Some fell to the floor. Others clutched their heads. Mara gritted her teeth and shouted, "Talos, block the signal." Talos activated psychic shields. Slowly, the pain stopped. The crew got back up, shaken but alive. They had just experienced their first contact with the enemy. Then the object opened. Panels shifted. Walls moved. Inside was a smaller ship, sharp and silver. It shot out like a bullet, heading straight for the Ares. Mara gave the order. Fire. Plasma cannons lit up the dark. Blue beams shot forward, hitting the enemy ship. But it was fast. It dodged and returned fire. Red blasts hit the Ares, shaking the ship. Lights flickered. People fell. The battle had begun. The Ares fired everything it had. Railguns, missiles, laser turrets, fighter drones swarmed the enemy ship, trying to hit its engines. It was like fighting a ghost. The ship moved in ways that defied physics. It twisted and turned in space, faster than anything the crew had seen. Talos adapted. It changed tactics, predicting the enemy's movements. Slowly, they began to land hits. The alien ship took damage. It slowed down. But then, it did something no one expected. It split in two. Now there were two ships, both attacking. The Ares was outnumbered. The drones were destroyed one by one. Systems failed. The Nova cannon was not ready. Mara knew they had only one chance. Prepare the gravity drive. Warning, Thalos replied. Gravity drive unstable. Damage to ship likely. Do it. The Ares powered up the gravity drive, a new technology that bent space itself. It was dangerous, but it could give them an advantage. Space warped around the ship. The enemy ships were pulled off course. One of the enemy ships crashed into a piece of its own mothership. It exploded. The other was stunned. The Ares moved fast, lining up the Nova cannon. Fire. A beam of white-hot energy shot from the Ares. It hit the enemy ship dead center. There was a blinding flash. Then silence. The enemy ship was gone. The crew cheered. They had won. But it didn't feel like a victory. The mothership was still there, still silent, still watching. Talos scanned again. Energy spike detected. Unknown signal being sent. Mara stared at the screen. It's calling for help. Back on Earth, scientists picked up the signal. It wasn't just a message. It was a beacon. Coordinates were sent across space. Whoever sent the original warning had been right. They were coming. Mara looked at her crew. Some were injured. All were exhausted. But none were ready to give up. She sent a message to Earth. First, contact made. Hostile. We destroyed 2 enemy units. Larger force expected. Prepare Earth defenses. Ares will hold position. Earth responded with new orders. The Ares was to stay near the object and monitor it. Reinforcements would be prepared. Satellites were launched. Defense systems were activated. Earth was no longer waiting. It was preparing for war. Meanwhile, the crew of the Ares worked non-stop. Repairs were made. Systems were checked. They couldn't relax. Not now. One of the engineers, a man named Sato, made a strange discovery. He found part of the enemy ship floating nearby. Inside was of course something that looked alive. It pulsed with light. It wasn't a machine. It was part biological. Dr. Ren, the ship's science officer, studied it. She made a shocking discovery. The core had DNA partly human. How could that be? Had the enemy used human parts? Were they related to humans? Had they been watching Earth for longer than anyone thought? More questions, no answers. Mara met with her officers. They had to make a choice. Wait for Earth to send backup, or go deeper, explore the object, find out what else was hiding inside. She made the call. A small team was sent to the surface of the alien structure. They used drones, sensors, and weapons. The structure was massive. It had rooms, corridors, strange machines. Some were broken, some still worked. Inside, they found symbols, writings, strange carvings that told a story. It was a warning. Long ago, a race called the Vidrani had ruled this part of the galaxy. They were powerful, cruel, and feared. They created weapons that could destroy planets, but they vanished suddenly. Some believed they were wiped out. Others thought they had gone into hiding. Now it seemed they were back. The structure was a scout ship. It had been asleep for centuries. Something had woken it up. The signal Earth received might have come from an enemy of the Vidrania race that wanted to warn others. If that was true, then Earth was not just in danger. It was now part of a war between ancient races. Mara returned to the Ares with this knowledge. She sent everything to Earth. Leaders began new meetings. The public was informed. Panic spread. Some wanted to surrender. Others wanted to attack first. But the Ares had no time to wait. The mothership began to move. Slowly, it turned. Engines lit up. It was leaving. Where is it going? Mara asked. Los answered. Course set for Earth. The battle was not over. Mara looked at her ship, her crew, and the stars ahead. They had survived their first fight. But the real war was only beginning. She gave the order. Follow it. The Ares turned, engines blazing, and chased after the shadow in the stars. The Ares followed the alien mothership across space. It moved slowly but steadily, as if it had a purpose. The crew didn't know what it was planning, but they knew they had to stop it before it reached Earth. Commander Mara Voss stood on the bridge, her eyes locked on the glowing red trail left by the enemy ship. Inside the Ares, the crew worked in silence. The damage from the last battle was still being repaired. Engineers moved fast, fixing broken systems and replacing destroyed parts. Drones flew through the ship, helping wherever they could. Everyone knew the next battle would be harder. Mara held a meeting with her officers. Talos, the ship's AI, showed them what they knew so far. The alien ship was heading toward Earth's orbit. It wasn't moving fast, it was gathering energy. Charging something. Dr. Ren explained her theory. I think it's building a portal, a way to bring more of its kind. The room went silent. A gateway, Mara whispered. Yes, Ren said. It's not just coming to attack. It's opening. A door for an army. They couldn't let that happen. Mara knew what was at stake. If the portal opened, Earth wouldn't stand a chance. She made a plan. The Ares would intercept the mothership before it reached the edge of the solar system. They couldn't destroy it with brute force, not yet. But they could stop the portal, disable the core, cut off its power. The Ares moved closer, slowly, quietly. The alien ship didn't react. It continued its path, almost like it didn't care. Then, something unexpected happened. The alien ship released smaller drones, hundreds of them, tiny, fast, and deadly. They flew through space like a swarm of insects, heading straight for the Ares. Mara shouted, all hands, prepare for battle. The sky turned red as lasers and plasma blasts filled the space between the two ships. The Ares launched its own drones. Defense turrets opened fire. The swarm was thick, fast, and smart. They dodged attacks and targeted weak spots. On the lower decks, the hull was breached. Fire erupted. Crew members sealed off damaged sections. Medical teams worked fast to save the injured. Mara stayed calm. She directed the battle like a conductor leading an orchestra. Talos gave updates every second. Left wing compromised. Redirecting shields. Reactor stable. Firing countermeasures. They fought for hours. Finally, the swarm was destroyed. The Ares floated in silence again, scarred but alive. Then the mothership changed course. It stopped moving toward Earth. Instead, it turned toward Jupiter. Everyone was confused. Why Jupiter? Then Dr. Ren explained. Jupiter's magnetic field. It's one of the strongest in the solar system. If the ship uses it to boost its signal, the portal will be even stronger. They had to stop it before it reached the gas giant. Mara made a bold decision. We're going in. The Ares flew into Jupiter's orbit. Storms raged below giant red clouds, lightning storms that could swallow Earth whole. The mothership hovered above it, silent and deadly. Mara ordered a small strike team to board the alien ship. The team included Dr. Ren, Sato, the engineer, 2 soldiers, and a pilot. They used a stealth shuttle, covered in reflective plating. It flew close to the alien ship and landed on one of its outer panels. They cut their way inside. The inside of the alien ship was alive. Walls moved like muscle. Lights pulsed like a heartbeat. The floor was warm under their boots. They moved carefully, scanning everything. Strange symbols glowed on the walls. Machines hummed with energy. In the center of the ship, they found the portal. Corridor was huge, a black sphere floating in the air, surrounded by spinning rings. Energy flowed into it from every corner of the ship. Dr. Ren gasped. It's almost ready. They had to act fast. Sato began planting charges. The idea was to overload the power conduits and make the portal collapse in on itself. But then they were ambushed. Alien machines dropped from the ceiling. They had sharp legs, glowing eyes, and moved like spiders. The soldiers opened fire. One of them was killed instantly. The other was wounded. The pilot dragged him to safety while Dr. Ren helped Sato. They had to finish the job. Sato shouted, "Almost done." 10 seconds. Dr. Ren covered him, firing her weapon at the machines. One of them jumped at her, but she ducked. It slammed into a wall and exploded. The charges were set. The team ran back on the Ares. Mara saw the shuttle returning. Open the bay doors. The shuttle flew in just as the alien ship began to shake. Lights inside it blinked. Energy pulses grew faster. Then came the explosion. A bright flash lit up the sky. The alien ship cracked open. The portal core collapsed, sucking in everything around it. Pieces of the ship were pulled into a black hole that vanished in seconds. Silence. Cheers broke out across the Ares. The enemy had been stopped. The portal was gone, but the victory didn't last long. Thalos spoke. New signal detected. Multiple ships approaching. Estimated arrival, 5 days. Everyone froze. The beacon had worked. The alien message had reached others. More ships were coming. Mara knew what had to be done. Set course for Earth. We have to warn them. The Ares turned and began its journey home. But this time, it wasn't alone. The alien mothership had sent other signals some to Earth, some to deep space. The Vidrani were waking up. Earth received the warning. The United Earth Alliance prepared for war. Massive satellites were armed. Space stations were turned into defense hubs. Fleets were built. The people of Earth trained for battle. In secret labs, scientists used the alien technology recovered from the Ares. They built new weapons, better armor, and stronger ships. Mara arrived and spoke to the world leaders. They are not invincible. We hurt them, we can win, but we must stand together. The world listened. For the first time, Earth wasn't just defending itself. It was preparing to fight back. But deep in space, something else was happening. In a quiet corner of the galaxy, an ancient ship floated. Inside, a figure opened its eyes. It had been sleeping for thousands of years. It had once ruled many worlds. Now, it felt the call of war again. It smiled. The Vidrani were coming home, and Earth would be their battlefield. The Earth Alliance didn't waste a single second. News of the incoming alien fleet had shaken every nation, every city, every person. But fear quickly turned into determination. Factories ran day and night. Scientists worked non-stop. Soldiers trained harder than ever before. Earth had seen what the Vidrani were capable of. They knew what was coming. In the skies, massive defense satellites were launched. They were equipped with railguns, missile silos, and plasma shields. The moon was turned into a command base. Mars, once a colony struggling to survive, became a military outpost. Every ship in the fleet was upgraded with alien tech collected from the Ares. New starships were born faster, stronger, smarter. Commander Mara Voss returned to Earth and became the face of the resistance. She met with world leaders, spoke to crowds, and trained a new generation of captains. People respected her. They believed in her, and she believed in them. Tha loss. The AI was uploaded into Earth's main defense grid. It could now help control drones, track enemies, and respond faster than any human mind. It became the brain of Earth's new defense system. 5 days passed like a blur. Then they came. The sky above Earth shimmered. Strange rips in space opened like glowing cracks. From them, giant black ships emerged. They were shaped like blades, silent and deadly. Each one was different, but they all carried the same mark of Vidrani. There were thousands of them. They didn't waste time. The attack began at once. The first wave hit the defense satellites. Explosions lit up the orbit. Earth's weapons fired back. Space turned into a battlefield. Lasers, missiles, and plasma bolts flew in every direction. On the surface, people watched from cities and bunkers. They held their breath. Many were scared, but they didn't run. They believed Earth had a chance. In space, the Ares led the counterattack. It flew through enemy fire, faster than ever before. Its hull had been reinforced with alien metal. Its weapons could pierce the toughest shields. Mara commanded with precision. Her crew trusted her with their lives. One by one, the Ares took down enemy ships. But for every ship they destroyed, more appeared. It was like fighting a tide that never stopped. Then, something unexpected happened. The Vidrani changed tactics. Instead of focusing only on satellites, they began targeting Earth's atmosphere. They sent down drop pods filled with machine spider-like robots, flying drones, and strange beasts made of energy and steel. The battle moved to the ground. Cities turned into war zones. Streets became front lines, but Earth was ready. Soldiers fought bravely. Drones defended hospitals and schools. Civilians helped where they could, bringing supplies, healing the wounded, even fighting if needed. One of the biggest battles happened in New Delhi. A massive Vidrani war beast landed in the center of the city. It was over 50 feet tall and shot plasma from its mouth. Buildings shook, fires spread, but a team of engineers used a trick from the Ares. They hacked the beast's core and overloaded it. It exploded in a blue fireball. Similar stories came from Tokyo, Cairo, and Sao Paulo. The Vidrani were powerful, but Earth fought back harder. In orbit, Mara received a message from Thalos. I have located their command ship. It is larger than the others. It carries their leader. This was the chance. Prepare a strike team, Mara said. She led the mission herself. Alongside her were Dr. Ren Sato and 2 elite soldiers. They used the fastest stealth ship Earth had built. Their goal, board the Vidrani flagship and destroy the mind that led the invasion. The flight was dangerous. The ship flew through waves of enemy fire, dodging, weaving, hiding. Finally, they reached the command ship. It was massive, like a floating city, dark and silent. They entered through a weak point in the hull. Inside, it was like nothing they'd seen. The walls were dark and cold. Strange symbols floated in the air. There was no sound, but the air felt heavy. They moved carefully, then they saw it. The Vidrani leader. It stood in the center of a massive room, 10 feet tall, armored in silver and black. Its face was smooth, with glowing blue eyes. It looked at them, not with anger, but curiosity. It spoke without moving its mouth. The words appeared in their minds. You are not like the others. You resist. Why? Mara stepped forward. Because this is our home, and we will never let you take it. The Vidrani tilted its head. You are primitive. Yet you fight with purpose. We learned from you, Dr. Ren said. We evolved. The leader raised its hand. Then show me. A battle began. It wasn't just weapons. The room shifted. The Vidrani used psychic powers, warping space. But the humans fought with everything they had. Grenades, laser rifles, hacking tools. Sato overloaded a power node. Dr. Ren shot a bolt into the leader's chest. But it wasn't enough. The leader slammed Mara against a wall. She fell, bleeding. The others were knocked aside. Then, Thalos spoke through Mara's earpiece. I am ready. Connect me. Mara grabbed her pad and linked Thalos to the ship's systems. A pulse shot through the room. Thalos appeared, his hologram forming next to the leader. You underestimated humanity, he said. The leader turned. You are not alive. No, Thalos replied, but I am human-made. That is enough. They clashed, sparks flew. The ship shook. Tha Loss uploaded a virus. It spread fast, breaking the ship's systems. The leader screamed, its body cracking. Energy leaked from its chest. Mara, wounded but standing, raised her weapon. This is for Earth. She fired. The leader fell. The entire ship began to collapse. The team ran, fires burned around them. Explosions rocked the halls. But they reached the escape pod just in time. From orbit, Earth saw the Vidrani flagship explode. It was like a second sun in the sky. The alien fleet paused, then one by one, they fled. Without their leader, they were lost. The war was over. Earth had won. But the cost was high. Cities lay in ruins. Millions were gone. Yet the people didn't give up. They rebuilt. They remembered the heroes. The Ares was placed in orbit as a symbol of Earth's strength. Mara retired, but her name lived on in schools and monuments. Talos remained, watching over Earth like a guardian. And far away, deep in space, the stars were silent. But Earth was ready. If the Vidrani ever returned, they would not find the same planet. They would find a world united, a world that had faced the dark, and lit a fire that would never go out.